Welcome to another edition of Suzy's Las Vegas, and with me, my fabulous guest is Nelson Sardelli, the man of many words. You have to see this. This is part two.
Part two, yes. We're going to level with you guys. There wasn't going to be part two, but I couldn't get my car started, so I came back. Suzy, it's nice to continue. Yes. Yes, it's very, very kind of you to do this, you know.
So we were talking about you being a comedian.
Well, again, like I said, comedy was always there.
Yeah.
My sister was wonderful, had a lot of humor. My mother, very dry humor, but she was funny, and I always enjoyed it. I was also the clown in school.
No.
Oh, my God. But the thing is that even the teacher would laugh as she sent me to the principal's office. It's very funny, Nelson. Principal's office. And I always enjoyed doing that, you know what I mean? Right. And I think that humor, in a way, as I said, is a blessing, because many times when I had a tough situation, humor got me out of it.
Yeah.
Many people don't have that, and sometimes they approach where there was not even a situation,
right,
and they make into problems. Mm-hmm. Like, you know. Anyway, so by the time I came to Vegas, I was already doing, you know, the singing, the comedy.
Sure.
And I had incorporated the gun twirling, you know.
Yeah.
And
the gun twirling. Okay, we need to talk about the gun twirling.
Yes. So I was singing and telling my jokes and everything. And what was funny is that Jerry Schaefer, as I mentioned before, he was bringing the big stars, you know, Polly Berg and anyway, Pat Boone, we became so close, Pat Boone and I still today. Sometimes when I feel sinful, I call him and I talk to him half an hour and I feel purified.
I bet you do.
It's great. Humor. Pat has so much humor that people don't know, and we crack up. We talk about everything.
Yeah.
Politics to, you know, religion to... But anyway, as the months went by, you know, they sent me to Carson City, you know, to sing there at the Sahara. You know, they were, because...
Sending you all over?
Yeah. And then Judy Garland came to town. Wow. And they needed, to tell the truth, you know, they needed an entertainer, a comedian.
Sure.
That would do about 12 minutes, which would be time enough for the musicians to get out from the pit, the 15-house band from the pit at the Sahara. Yeah. And to move them behind the curtain to join the other 20-so-many musicians to make the 36 musicians that Judy Garland had.
36 musicians.
36. Oh, wow. Yeah, but those days was common. Mm-hmm. And they need a comedian. I know I had never done just stand-up comedy. You know, I wouldn't even know how to finish, because comedians, they finish, say, well, thank you very much. And I said, how do you know? And they can do it, I can't.
Yeah.
So they decide that Stan Irwin was a director, you know, entertainment director in the Sahara. They talked to my manager, George Soros, and they say, we could use Nelson. So they came and they told me, say, Nelson, we're going to take you from the afternoon show, Girls a la Carte.
You were Girls a la Carte?
I was the girl. I mean, I was in the show, Girls a la Carte, and there was a lot of girls. There was a lot of Girls a la Carte. Yes,
I'll bet there were.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they wanted me to go from that show to do. I didn't want to do it. You know, it's funny to think about it.
Yeah.
Any other entertainer would have jumped into the thing. I said, wait a minute. I am the big fish in the little pond here. I don't want to go there and do 12 minutes of stand-up comedy. I never did that. And I fought and I fought and I fought until they said, you're going to do it. I said, only if I can get out with a singing. One song at the end. Al Alvarez was the musical director. And conversation went back and forth, and they gave it to me. Oh, yes. So now here I am. I go the first night, and the acts were, you know, there was a dancing team. Then the guy from Australia that married Liza Minnelli, Peter, do you remember his name? Anyway, you can see.
Yeah.
And then after him is where they need
You.
those 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So I went on. And I did 23 minutes. You know.
Yeah. They were so excited.
And I got a standing ovation.
Oh, that you did.
I mean, you know, whoa. But of course, you know, the standing ovation, the moment they start playing Somewhere Over the Rim, they forgot about me, you know. And, but I mean, I came out and the guy said, "You realize you did 23 minutes?" I said, "We're the greatest 23 minutes." You know.
Greatest story ever
Oh,
told.
but I mean, here I am, you know, I actually won the last opening act for Judy Garland, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing is that as the days went by, one day after the show, a guy came to me and says, "I want to shake your hand." I said, "God, I made it. I
Yes,
made
you
it.
did.
A guy wants to shake my hand. I gotta be something." And he shook my hand. He says, "I want to shake your hand because I know that backstage you must have touched Judy Garland." You son of a bitch. He deflated my egg so
At that
fast.
point, it was like, forget
you know. But it was funny because,
Yeah.
you know, that's the way it was. And I remember after the first show, the first night, I went to her dressing room and I said, "I want to thank you for this opportunity, you know, Judy Garland." We took some pictures and stuff. Then we didn't speak for the whole week. The next Monday, she called me over. Says, "I want you to take me around the city after, I wish those days we had the selfies, you know."
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and a guy went around taking the pictures. I was able to secure a couple of them only. But we went and wow, and it was such a commotion. It was very, very interesting points. And so at that time, the comedy had been incorporated in my show very, very much.
From there, where did you go?
Well, you know,
did you stay
Vegas,
for a long time and
Vegas, let's face it, there is no kidding around. Vegas is a powerful, magical name.
Yes.
Then I got booked any place because it's direct from Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
I got to play London,
London.
the talk of the town.
Wow.
I was the headline of the talk of the town. And I went there just to do 4 weeks, 4 weeks of the talk of the town, which is, you know, it's the place in London. And I remember having troubles with my guns, you know.
You took your guns with you?
Yeah, because it was part of my show.
Yeah.
And, you know.
You were the fastest guy?
Yeah, it was pretty fast, yeah.
Yeah.
But in the first few days, I had to pay for a gunsmith to carry my guns. I could not touch my guns.
Really?
It was a funny thing. So somebody says, "Nelson, you know, you can go to a studio, get one of the guys, the little kids that are working for the studio, they can carry your guns." His name was Paul Newman, which was funny because the newspaper says Paul Newman carried Nelson. And Paul was a kid from prep school, very brilliant, but you could not just tell him a simple answer. You know, if you tell him if you ask him what time it was, he would tell you how the Big Ben was built, you know. And he was good. Yeah, the kid was good. And so the talk of the town, I remember when I came in, the guy says, Mrs. Sardelli, how would you like to be introduced? You know, I said, well, tell her like it is. You say, ladies and gentlemen, the talk of the town takes an awful chance in presenting to you in lieu of a better act. Now, he says, how refreshing. He loved it. He says, how refreshing. Yeah. It's not the introduction that is going to prove what I can do. It's what I do after the introduction. And they loved it. They loved it. You know, it was funny.
Yeah.
And because then I was followed by Sergio Franchi. And when Billy Eckstein played The Talk of the Town, my sister went to see him, and when she said she was my sister, he made her feel like a queen. I love Billy Eckstein.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I was very lucky. I developed tremendous friendship with many of the big entertainers. Vic Damone and I used to say that I was the brother he never had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Frank Sinatra, for instance, every time he saw me, he waved at me. He went,
That's how he waved.
No, it was, you know, it was, then, you know, from the Thunderbird, I played the Riviera, the Sahara. I played, you know, many one nights here and there. Then I played the Aladdin. And in the Aladdin, it was funny because I do a thing in my act with the guns.
Yeah.
And among the bits that I do it, at one time I turn around and I had a rolling pin in my head because I say, give me your dough. You know, it's a corny joke, but it worked. So now I go to Mexico. I'm singing in Acapulco, Mexico.
Yeah.
And I saw this Mexican rolling pin made of wood, engraved, beautiful.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to put that in the show instead of the one that I still have now.
Yeah.
And I got this thing, and that was mostly towards the end of the show. And as I am going to pull the thing and turn around fast to do that joke, this Hawaiian guy was sitting down.
Oh, no.
And the Mexican thing, termites had eaten around here. So as I turn like this, boom, in the man's nose, blood all over.
Oh,
and
my
you know,
God.
And I'm not thinking about being sued. That's not what I said, Jesus, I just knocked this guy's nose. And I said, sir, I'm so sorry. He says, come on, don't worry about it. You know, it's just a bleeding nose. I said, no, man, I gotta take care of you. And so I kind of finished the show half-assed, and I grabbed them and I took to the nurse and everything. Yeah. He never sued me.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, yeah, but imagine how stupid you feel when you do something like this. Yeah. But then again, with the guns, before I had my guns plugged in Kansas City at the Inferno, I was singing, I was doing a gun bit, and I had the crimp bullets. Crimp bullets, when you hit on the back, they just open.
Yeah.
But that night, when I hit the back, instead of opening, he broke around here, and he went like a projectile and hit the guy in the arm. I did not know. At the end of the show, he came to me. He says, Mr. Sardelli, maybe I should just show you. And he took his coat. Was
he bleeding? Yeah.
He wasn't bleeding, but he had a welt. And again, I said, no. He says, don't worry. So immediately the next day, I went and I blocked the...
Sure.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in Winnipeg, I was doing the guns. Second time I was in Canada, and with the guns. I never had problem. I declare as I come in, I say I'm doing a show. And the particular night, so I never leave the guns in the club. I take with me to my hotel.
Sure.
And somebody saw me, because that night I felt clowny It was
Yeah.
night already. I put my guns, got in the car to go to the club.
Yeah.
Because the rest of my
you
prop.
had, yeah.
And somebody must have called the police. And as I arrived,
They were waiting for you.
oh, cars, wham, wham, behind, because you enter from the back. Next thing I know, the guy says, "You got a gun?" I said, "Yeah, right there." You know, it's. And they took me in.
They took you in.
My boss showed up. I said, "I'll be right back. I'm sure. They're gonna know that it's my act." And they took me. I am literally arrested as far as. So I'm standing
In
there
Winnipeg. In Winnipeg.
in
this-
Winnipeg, Canada. I'm standing there, 45 minutes. I'm getting a little bugged. And I look at one of the officers and say, "Sir, do you mind if I sit down?"
Yeah.
And he said, "You stay where you are and shut." I say, "Whoa, wait a minute, Sherlock Holmes." I say, "You haven't discovered anything. This is my second time in Canada, in Winnipeg."
Yeah.
Not in Canada. In Canada, I say, it's been on the paper that I do guns. I've been on television. Where have you been?
Yeah.
I say, I have one phone call to make. I'm not going to call a lawyer. I'm going to call the UPI. And
Yeah.
I'm just going to get publicity.
Yeah.
And I must have touched a nerve because just before they had a little, not a scandal, but something about the chief of police and the moment I said that, I touched a nerve and it changed. The guy came to me and says, "You just a moment." I wait a little bit more. They brought the Crown Prosecutor, District Attorney.
To you.
Crown Prosecutor. And you walk in and he had a pajama with a raincoat on top. And you walked in and he says, "Mr. Sardelli." I said, we're back to Mr. Sardelli.
Yeah.
That's not so bad.
Yeah.
He says, "Mr. Sardelli, you know the situation with guns here. What are we going to do? We're going to confiscate your guns and everything is going to be all right." I said, "No, sir. We're going to rephrase what you said. You're going to withhold my guns. This is my second week. I finished Saturday. Saturday, after the show, I go to my hotel, I pack up, I come back here on my way back to Kansas City.
Right.
You give me my guns." He says, "Well, that can be done." And wow. But for a while, I'm facing.
bet you were
I'm
just-
facing 2 years in jail there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was, yeah.
What
Whoa.
year was that, Nelson?
Yeah, this has got to be
In the
late 60s, early 70s.
early 70s?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because I was, all over. The gun was funny because for a while, people always say, "Oh, that guy with the gun," my show,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
they described me.
Yeah.
The gun was a part that
Sure, the people
resonated,
remembered, yeah.
Yeah. It was fun.
Well,
Yeah.
on the Strip.
On the Strip.
You had a lot of shows on the Strip, but then as you were on the Strip, then you'd go out of the country then, right?
Oh, yeah. I start again because of the
Yeah.
magical power of the word Las Vegas.
Sure.
So I start playing Mexico. Oh, then I got Australia.
What was that like?
Oh, I've been there 33 times.
33
Yeah.
times?
Oh, I love it.
33.
If there is a country that I really love and I love the people,
Yeah.
was Australia. And on the beginning, I didn't want to go. I was being like a jerk, an ass, in the negotiations. First, they so much money, and then I want more. They gave me more. I want to take 4 bags instead of just 3. They said, "Okay." I kept pushing the envelope, and the guys are accepting it. And I got to a point where I had to go.
Yeah.
And the moment I arrived in Australia, I said, I'm in the right country.
You really liked
I
it.
loved it. I sang in the opera house there.
See, you got your opera.
Yeah, but I mean, that was one night only, but nevertheless, I sang
There
the
you
opera
are.
house.
You were an opera
Oh,
singer.
it was great. It was great. The Italians over there made me become more famous in Sydney.
Did
Because
they?
the room that I sang at the, South Sydney Rugby Club,
Yeah.
the nightclub is on the 5th floor. And it sits a little over 1,000 people. The first night I only had 800, which is
Quite a
not
bit.
too, yeah.
No, that's wonderful.
But the Italians, The next day they got on the phone. Did you see the paisana? Next night, the line came down 5 steps like this. Was great. From that day was really, really, really great. Australia, I played the Gold Coast, and television there was very good to me. And you see, one of the things that happened, I used to play Puerto Rico a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's where I start my thing for the mentally retarded, which is not politically correct to say, but was at those days. I used to shine shoes to raise money for, the mentally handicapped kids.
Sure.
Yeah, in Puerto Rico. That's where I started. I've done this all over. And in Puerto Rico, I work at the San Jeronimo Hilton first, then I work at the other ones. But Mr. Carpenter, he was a nephew of one of the Hilton, the Hilton was the San Jeronimo Hilton. He was a manager.
Yes.
So after a few times that I worked there, one of the times I came back, there was a call from him. He had moved to Turkey. He was a big man at the Hilton in Istanbul.
Yeah.
And I said, Mr. Carpenter, he wants to come to Turkey. In my mind, I said, wow, bucks are coming in my way.
Yeah.
So when I got a hold of him, he says, Nelson, you are the only guy I could think of. I said, good. He says, we're going to do a show for the American Hospital. It's a freebie.
It's a freebie.
But what the beauty for it, he says, it's a freebie. But Pan Am is one of the sponsors. So you can fly from Vegas and you stop in any place you want on the way to Istanbul, stay at any of the Hiltons of the city as our guests.
Yay.
It took me about 3 weeks to get to Istanbul.
Well, of course.
I went to Portugal and then Spain, Italy, and the only 2 places I paid for extra to go see was Greece and Israel. I gave $200 more.
Wow.
But it was great. And I remember I'm singing there for royalty, for sultans. And
wow.
Yeah, it was fantastic. But on the rehearsal, when a band came, it was a disaster.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What happened?
Well,
Yeah.
musicians, you got to read music.
Yeah.
You got to be show-wise.
Yeah.
And I remember we suffered, and the first show was, my opening song was still, you are my reason to live.
Yeah.
And I remember that the orchestra died on me. It was, you are my reason to live. And they stopped.
Oh, my God.
And I was there alone in Turkey.
Oh, no.
And I did the whole show again with jokes. Thank God that the people that came spoke the language. And then the next day I was invited.
You're very good at ad-lib, aren't you?
The next day I was invited to go see a soccer game between Turkey and another country. It was most like democracy and communism.
Wow.
But because I was a guest of the people, I sat on the field there, here, and I had a cape that I just bought in Spain.
You were the king.
I'm with the king, sitting there with my wife here, and in the middle of the game, first of all, I remember when we got there, the doors, they had to knock people to open the doors for us, and the people forcing to get in. The doors was this thick of steel and was, ooh. So we sat there, and I am there with the chief of the hospital, who also was some sort of a minister.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and we're sitting there, and in the middle of the 45 minutes break in the soccer game, I turned around, and some guy threw a little cigarette on me.
Oh, no.
Oh, and immediately, you know, I said, "You son of a bitch!" You know, I mean, I really let the guy have.
Yeah.
Was a little stronger than son of a bitch that I called him.
I'm sure.
And my wife immediately tried to explain that Nelson, you know, is in show business, and that language sometimes is expected.
Yeah.
And the woman was so classy, the wife of the gentleman, that on the next night we had dinner together, she tried to tell a story where that word belonged in the story to make me know that I had been forgiven, you know.
Yeah.
But the embarrassment was there, no matter what. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like I said, I could never, in any other way, in any other profession, have had the opportunities, the chances that I had to do what I did with show business by singing.
Wow.
I saw the world on somebody else's money,
Yeah.
you know, and you cannot, how I say, find any other thing to see how lucky you are.
Yes.
Because, again, here I am spewing. I was born in São Paulo, Brazil. São Paulo, Brazil at the time, it's still now, the backbone of Brazil is the city, the state. But my neighborhood was a real melting pot.
Was it?
Oh my God. I'm talking real like America, but
Yeah.
concentrated in this neighborhood, Ipiranga.
Yeah.
And was like on the corner of my house, there were black people. Then Italians, we Italians. Next to us was Russian and Polish Jews. Then was French. Then was Portuguese from Portugal. Across the street was Hungarian, Lebanese. You just name it, Japanese.
Wow.
And we all beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, we going to everybody's house. That without realizing, I was getting the greatest school that I could have asked for. Because
Fabulous.
I was sharing their culture,
Yeah.
their food. So when I traveled the world, wherever I went, I said, oh, if it was Lebanon or something, or whatever, I said, oh, I am in Haddad's house here.
Yeah.
I am in so-and-so home.
Yeah.
I knew
You knew what it was.
the culture, the food, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I didn't realize I was being blessed with as I traveled the world and was being, you know, exposed to all that. So every place was great, you know, singing in Ireland, singing in Wales.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going there.
Where?
Steve, my husband and I are going to go.
To Ireland or Wales?
We're going to go to Scotland and also Ireland.
Scotland, I did not get a chance to go.
Yeah.
No, just Ireland, Wales, and
It had to be wonderful, wasn't it?
oh my God, yeah, it was. You know, I was always in awe.
Yeah.
You know, but I was always aware of the blessing that was being bestowed upon me because I said, look at all this that I get to see. Then I start going and singing on ships.
Oh, you were on.
Oh yeah, but I
entertainer.
was funny because when I sang on ship, I make sure that my contract, more than anything, is I am a passenger with all the passenger regalia, all the rights.
Yeah.
I do a show, and my contract said I have to do 2 shows in this 2 weeks period.
Right.
That's it, because you know you go from here to South Africa, whatever.
Sure.
And that was very important.
Well, of course.
Because if not, you find yourself
In steerage.
Huh?
In steerage?
Number one.
Really?
Oh, I demand a window
Well, sure.
above water level that
Yeah.
I can see.
Absolutely.
I was very funny, but then again, I went all over.
Yeah.
You know, just in Israel a few times. You know.
What was that like?
Oh, I love, and it's funny because this would confuse a lot of people, not the Jewish people, but I am a Mason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, sure. And, this is the G for geometry. And sometimes the Arabs would look at me first because there was not quite the star of them. Yeah, it's...
You said it's close.
It's close, yeah. But it was so, great, it's Greece and Israel. I've been there a few times, and Australia. Go ahead.
You're going to be, if you don't mind me saying, you're going to be 90.
90? Oh my God!
But you.
We're talking.
But you're really like you're 50, not 90.
We're talking 4 scores.
And 7 years.
No, 4 scores and a decade. Yeah, I'll be 90. Yeah.
So what do you want to do that you haven't done?
Oh, there is a lot to do. It's just,
Yes.
I don't know if you have a chance now. I'm not performing anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not traveling as much. I just went to New York for somebody's birthday, and we went on a Friday, came back on a Sunday.
Oh, that's too quick.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, it isn't like before. Traveling was much much easier. And
right.
Yes, yeah. What is that I want to do? I still hope that I keep this desire for learning.
Sure.
It always is good if you keep learning, because I sometimes have the tendency to be a little, as we say in Italy, a testa dura, capotosta, hard-headed,
No.
I know a little bit, yeah.
I don't believe that.
No, it's but I try to, keep the
an
door.
open mind.
Of course. Because, I don't say that I'm always right, but one time I was wrong, but I had...
But only once.
No, I made a mistake. I wasn't wrong. I thought I was wrong, but I wasn't.
But you weren't.
No. But it's all good. It's all good. I hope that other people, try to enjoy life as much as you can. Sometimes it's not easy for some people.
That's right.
Like I said, I've been blessed. It's I wasn't exactly too much academically inclined,
Okay.
in school, whatever. I just did enough to pass the grade, and so I'm not. I was honored by the university.
Yes, I was going to bring that up next.
Well, bring it up then.
Yeah. So
No, it's funny
so
because
let's revisit that.
no,
Tell me about
all
it.
my daughters,
Yeah.
they were graduated from the university.
Yes.
I wasn't. In fact, unfortunately, Dr. Menendez, Professor Menendez, that was very much influential on having me honored. He just passed away.
Oh,
Young
I'm
man,
sorry.
61 years old, heart attack. But I was,
That had to be a thrill.
are you kidding?
I mean, really?
Are you kidding? Because, who am I? I'm just one man, one mind. Nothing special, but yet,
Yeah.
I've really.
This is your city.
Huh?
Yeah, this is your city. This is your place.
Well, not only this, many things that could be a blah experience became an eye opener. And I say, here I am.
Yeah.
That honor from the university was fantastic, and I am on this CNN
documentary.
And then next year, which we're not going to get into any details, I'll be in one other major documentary. On that one, I'll be very much a part of it, because the story will have to deal with my being a part of somebody's life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's funny that at the age of 90, things like this keep. Here I am in your show.
Yes, I'm glad to have you.
Well, not glad. I mean,
yes.
my career, that's it. That's the acme. Yeah.
Well, is there anything you want to say on closing? Because I'm definitely
Are
going
we
to have
closing?
you,
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to have you back again because
Yeah,
we've got
yeah.
so much to talk
We're
about.
going to have to do is next time, I'm
Yeah.
going to let you, we make an itinerary.
Okay.
So Sardelli,
And I'll say, okay, this is where you're going to be.
you talk about this and stay with it. No, thank you.
This was the highlight of my life. Nelson.
are you
Honestly,
kidding?
I really enjoyed having you on here.
We're in a
And Lorraine, she's happy to have you here
She's sitting
too.
there just
Yes.
watching and not being embarrassed.
We
by
tried
me.
to get her to come on with us, but
Yeah.
she said no. Let you have the spotlight. Yes.
Yeah, well,
She's a
that's-
wonderful wife. Yes, she is.
My wife is not in show business. She only shows it to me.
Well, thank you for being with us today. Please tune in again. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And again, thank you so much to my wonderful guest,
Thank you,
Nelson.
Mama. It was a pleasure.
Really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is our show. Take care.